Hi boys and girls, Mrs. M here with another read aloud for you. Today for Insect Day, I'm going to be sharing the story called Who Needs Bees by Matt Reher and Danielle Shutterman, who were some of our favorite authors and illustrators from when we were doing our animal stories earlier in the year. So today's story is going to be all about why bees are important to us. Who needs bees? Many people call bees pests, but did you ever think to call them farmers? You should. 1 out of every 3 foods you eat was farmed by bees. Without bees, there would be a lot less of the foods you love to eat. So take a peek at all the different things that bees help to pollinate, all the different wonderful fruits and vegetables that we love to enjoy. There wouldn't be much chocolate, and there would be no almonds at all. This is because bees act like farmers. Their work helps plants make the food we eat. How? Read on to find out. I know some of you definitely would not be able to go on without chocolate. This is a seedling. The seedling is a baby apple tree. It needs lots of sun, water, and food to grow. The seedling won't grow into a big apple tree this year. It can take 5 to 8 years for one apple tree to grow big enough to make apples. So they have the life cycle of the apple tree. For the seedling, growing all the way to the full-grown apple tree, and of course the fruit of the apples. Adult trees make tiny buds. In the spring the buds open. The apple tree is covered with lots of small flowers. This is pollen. Pollen looks like yellow dust. Each flower makes pollen. To make apples, a tree needs pollen from other apple trees. How can the pollen get from tree to tree? Of course, I'm sure most of you already know. Bees. They move the pollen from tree to tree. That's how it happens. The bee has lots of tiny hairs on its body. The hairy bee lands on the flower to get nectar. Lots of pollen sticks to the bee's hair. The bee flies from tree to tree and gets covered with pollen and lots of flowers from lots of trees. The flowers are ready to capture the pollen they need. All flowers have pistils. The pistil is a small tube that sticks up from the middle of the flower. The pistil is sticky at the top. When the bee lands on the sticky pistil, some of the pollen gets stuck to it. If you look real closely to this picture here, you can see the pistil and then the bee very close into the flower. A tube grows out of each piece of pollen. The tubes all race to the bottom of the pistil. The first pollen tube to reach the bottom starts a new apple in one egg. As the ovule grows, the petals fall off the flowers. Tiny apples begin to grow. The apples grow all summer long. They need sunlight, food, and water. When fall comes, they're ripe. They're ready to be picked and eaten. Bees help plants grow all around the world. In Brazil, bees help Brazil nuts grow from trees. And in Norway, bees help berries to grow. China, they help tomatoes grow. And in Kenya, bees grow cucumbers. as well as throughout the world. The next time you see some bee buzzing around, just let them work. They're farming for you. And that is the end of the story, Who Needs Bees? And I'll share a few facts with you, see if you can guess some of the facts. So, honeybees collect pollen and nectar to live. At the same time, they pollinate most fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Out of the top 100 food crops, there are blank amount of bees that help pollinate them. So I will give you a choice and see if you can guess. Do you think that there would be, out of every 100 human crops, about 30 bees that would help pollinate? 150 or 70? Give you a few seconds to think. And the answer is 70 bees. The next question. Bees' pollinated food crops are worth how much money a year, do you think, in the United States? Do you think the crops are worth more than $15 million, $15 billion, or $15 trillion? Now I know to you, certain amounts of money, even $100 seems like a lot, but the amount of money that it's worth, $15 billion a year. Pretty amazing. Next question. A honeybee will visit between 10 and 20 flowers during a pollination collection trip. Do you think between 100 and 200? Or do you think between 50 and 100 flowers? How many flowers would they visit? The answer is 50 to 100 flowers. Two more questions. The next one. Domestic honeybees live in colonies cared for by people called a beekeeper. And actually, Mr. Farmer's brother and wife, they had beehives, they had honey hives at their home, and for one season they were able to have enough honey to actually share with us. But unfortunately something happened over time. The bees all disappeared, but they were trying to do that again for this summer. So for that beekeeper, there are more than how many colonies in the United States? How many bee colonies for those beekeepers? Do you think that there would be a little over 2 million, a little over 1 million, or a little over 5 million bee colonies? And for anybody that likes honey like me, there are a little over 2 million bee colonies in the United States. And finally, the last question. This would be about the nut almonds. Almonds are 100% dependent on honeybee pollination, so we would not have delicious almonds if it weren't for those bees. More than 1 million colonies are used each year. In what state to help pollinate almond flowers? Do you think here in New Jersey? Do you think south in Florida? Or do you think over on the West Coast in California? There are more bee colonies for those almond flowers. And the answer is California. So those delicious almonds that you may like to enjoy, many of them would be coming from California. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the story of Who Needs Bees. And the next time you see them, I know I'm not crazy about them flying around me, but I will think about them much more and how important they are, and not swat them away if they start flying around my food, because they're just there to try to pollinate. See you guys later. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.